Всех приветствую, новая серия по Kingdom Come. В этой серии глянем дополнение. Что это было? Дополнение Шайка Шайка ублюдков. Надеюсь, оно будет интересное.
Greetings. What business have you?
Father, can I ask you about something?
Of course, Henry.
I thought since we drove Toth out of the province, things would be better. I mean that the roads would be safer and so on, and, well, that's not entirely the case.
Ah, the naivety of youth. Driving him out of the province was only the start. He left a lot of cutthroats behind, and they'll be sticking to their trade. What's more, as long as there's a war going on, problems like this will keep coming up.
Well, what can we do about it?
Not an awful lot, unfortunately. My garrison is a shamble these days. I lost most of my men in Skalitz, and what I'm left with after Pribyslavitz is hardly enough even to guard Pigstein. Let alone guarding the roads and patrolling the rest of the province. I simply don't have the men.
Uh-huh. I understand.
That is, I didn't have the men. As it happens, you've come at just the right time. Recently, I asked an old acquaintance for help. Sir Kuno of Rickwald and his mercenary band. The men who ride with him are a rough lot, mostly former convicts, but they're as capable as any squad of soldiers.
Well, excuse me for being so bold, but there's plenty of mercenaries around. Surely you can find a more respectable band?
You have a point, lad, but I'd like to tell you I talked to Kuno because I trust him. But actually my reasons are of a more pragmatic nature. You see, Kuno owes me a favor, so he'll serve me free of charge.
So, you want me to join them?
Yes, but that's not all. I told Kuno I'd send him a guide, but really what I need is for someone to keep a close eye on him and his men. Someone reliable. And I'd say you fit the part. Go and report to him at his encampment. You'll ride with his band on patrols and make sure they don't get too disorderly.
Who is this Sir Kuno of Rickwald?
He's the last baron of the House of Rickwald, which became impoverished. So he took to the mercenary trade, like many poor noblemen do, unless they become robbers, which often isn't all that different. He's certainly an entertaining companion, but as a mercenary, well, let's just say he has his own particular approach to certain matters.
That sounds a little worrying.
Oh, it's nothing too bad. Just that now and again he needs reminding not to step over the line.
How is he indebted to you?
I did him quite a big service, actually. I saved him from the hangman.
Oh, that sounds like quite a story. How did it happen?
You should ask him. You'll be spending quite a while riding together.
Примерно
so
как с
it'll help
ежиком.
pass the time.
Какая там
But
история.
one thing I can tell you, he seems to have taken inspiration from me. A lot of his men had their own encounters with the executioner too.
All right, I'll go and report to him.
Excellent. He set up camp between Ratai and Ledechko. It's a good base for covering the province. Good luck, Henry. And watch out for yourself.
I will, sir. Thanks.
Good luck then.
Ну, посмотрим. Надеюсь, не придется тупо бегать туда-сюда, как с Юханкой было. Конец Прибыславица, не знаю, что там выйдет раньше. Еще подумаю. Ну, в общем, конь уже отстроенный Прибыславица. Скорость аж 55. Так, где мне проехать на... Прямо через мост. И налево куда-то было. Кстати, еще насчет прибыславец. А можно туда еще кучу народу назвать. Например, кузнецов. Одного кузнеца из Сазавы. По-моему, я находил Марка на конюшнях. В Нойхофе. Там охраны почти нету, так что то, что я там в тюрячку должен присесть, их не особо волнует. А кого волнует, те быстро отстают.
I'll be with you. I'm looking for Sakuno. Sakuno? Baron Rickvold. Isn't this his camp?
You won't get nothing out of it. You must be Radzig's man. I heard he was supposed to send someone.
Yes, Sir Radzig sent me as a guide. I'm Henry.
I'm Jakey. And this here fella, we call the Stone.
I can see why. What's up with him? Cat got his tongue?
No, more like the dog got it. The executioner's dog. When the executioner ripped it out of him.
Змея, блин.
Anyway, you better come along with me. I'll introduce you to the other fellas. And the chief. These here are the Bearman brothers, Petter and Jan. They're a barrel of laughs, except when they're too drunk to string two words together. Like now. Don't get on the wrong side of them, though. When their blood is up, well, it ain't a pretty sight.
Pleased to make your acquaintance, I'm sure.
Веселая компания намечается.
Stefan, you're trying to kill the fucker, not teach him how to dance. And you, Dangler, stand your ground. Don't let him lead you round by the nose.
Sir? Well, sir, this is Henry. From Lord Kobler.
Ah, it's about time Radzig got round to this. We need someone who knows their way around these parts. Leave off with the bowing and curtsying. We don't hold with that tomfoolery here. Jakey! Where the hell are you sneaking off to? Go to the farm and get water. The lads are thirsty.
But I went last time.
And you'll go next time, you ungrateful pup. Get your ass moving. Snot-nosed brat. You pull them out of a pile of shit, and they thank you with back talk. Where were we? Oh yeah. We need a guide who knows these parts. So I hope I can rely on you, Herman.
It's Henry.
Right. Well, as I said to Radzig, I don't want to carry any dead weight. We could find ourselves in some very tight situations where every sword counts.
I know how to handle a sword, all right?
I've heard a lot of fellas say that. They still ended up on the wrong end of one. We'll find out. Stefan, take a break. Dangler, let's find out what Harold here can do.
Sure.
No problem, Chief.
Знакомое оружие. Правда, по-любому не тот, просто то же самое лицо сделали. У разбойников такой тип был. Какой-то шустрый тип. На тебе локтем в башку. Его это, кстати, не берет. А, ну тут недолго, судя по всему.
You didn't fare badly at all, I must say. You can ride with us.
All right, good. Thanks.
Don't thank me yet. You don't know what you're letting yourself in for.
Sir Kuno, can you tell me something about yourself?
Drop the sir. That title brought me nothing but grief. But what do you want to know?
What about your debt to Sir Radzig? How did that come about?
A twist of fate, lad. I was fighting in the hostilities between the House of Schallenberg and the town of Colleen. Some trade dispute it was, and I fought under the Schallenberg colours. In the end, the two sides negotiated a truce, and I rode to Colleen with the delegation that was to parley there. We stopped off at an inn on the way, and it was there that I met Radzig Kobyla. I could tell at first sight he was a man after my own heart. A likeable rogue, with a sharp mind and a merry soul. We spent the whole night drinking together and talking, and in the morning we set off together, with sore heads, but in good temper, since he was travelling to Colleen same as I was. Only, once we reached the city gates, they arrested me on the spot. Seems the burghers had it in for me, since I'd been making their lives hell for a good 6 months. On the other hand, I was a member of the peace delegation, so by rights, they shouldn't have even looked at me sideways. And then it hit me why Radzig was there. Colleen is a royal city, so he was there to represent the king's interests.
I see. So he was on the other side.
That's right. Anyway, they threw me in a dungeon, and a few days later word reached me that the Schallenbergs had reached an agreement with the burghers. Only part of the deal was they would give them my head. And I'd surely have ended my days swinging from the town battlements if it hadn't been for Radzig. He liked me, and he could see it was a dirty trick, so he somehow squared things with the city council.
Lucky for you.
Indeed. I owe my life to Radzig, and I'll never forget it. He's asked me twice before for help. This is the third time, and how could I refuse him?
I'd like to ask about your men.
Ask away.
Those Behrman brothers are quite a pair.
Indeed they are. There's no more mercy in them than in, well, a bear. If I told them to skewer you on the spot, they'd do it, without batting an eyelid.
Если выжили.
Jesus.
Oh, aye. They'd argue first about which one of them got to do the job. But they're as obedient as a huntsman's dogs. Real soldiers, the pair of them. Reliable, as long as they don't get too drunk. Then there's no keeping them under control. But nobody's perfect.
What about that dumb one? How did he end up with you?
The stone? Oh, he just kind of tagged along.
Just like that?
Aye, just like that. We were riding from Olomouc to a castle past Kladsko, when we ran into him and some other wayfarers camping along the way. You know how it goes. We made acquaintance with them, had a drink or two. Then we travelled on together. After all, there's safety in numbers.
I'm not sure I'd be thinking that if I ran into you lot on the road.
We might have done some things I ain't proud of, but wayfarers are sacred even for me. Anyway, our fellow travellers dropped off along the way. One in Mohelnitz, one in Schoenberg, and the rest in Kladsko. Except for the stone. He stuck with us the whole way. The fellas kept asking him what he was after, but of course he never said a word. When we were approaching Barsdorf, I ordered the men to get rid of him. I had some business at the castle, and I didn't want any strangers sticking their noses in. Stefan tried to tell him nicely, but he just sat there, staring like he was turned to stone. That's when we gave him the name. Then the Behrman brothers tried to get him off his horse. He booted Jan in the face and knocked him out cold. Then he jumped down and felled Petter with one punch. A man who can do that is a man you want on your side. So we kept him.
Weren't you worried about having a stranger in your band? Especially one who didn't talk.
No, I figured if he can't talk, he can't tell. Besides, I've had worse.
О, вот про это
What
очень
about
интересно.
Jakey?
Jakey, that boy will be the death of me. You've got to be tough on him, or he's good for nothing. But I'm fond of him, in a way.
Like a son?
I wouldn't go that far. But I've no family of my own. And unlike those other cutthroats, he seems to me like a good lad.
Well, you're pretty hard on him, though. And the others keep him on his toes, too.
The boy needs a firm hand. I was like him once, and I got the same too. If we let him be, we'd end up with a third bear man. And who'd want that?
True. 2 is more than enough.
Ладно.
Should we ride out?
Aye, we ought to set out on patrol about now. Hope you've got your kit ready and whatnot. I'd like to head to the north. Is there anything interesting that way?
North of here, Samapesh and Merhoyed are that way, and Talmberg is a bit further on. There's stables in Merhoyed.
I wouldn't mind paying a visit to those stables. We can go through there.
And from there?
From there, we'll follow our noses. Something interesting is sure to turn up. I feel it in my bones. Mount up and let's go.
Sure. Chief.
Интересно. Иконка тоже такая. Толпа народу. Ну, походу, что-то будет.
Sorry, they don't do hauberks in girls' sizes.
Oh, well how did you get yours then?
All right, I appreciate your honesty, lads. Don't worry, there will be plunder. We're here to fight, and to the victor the spoils. That's how it's always been. But no purse of silver will shed blood for you on the battlefield. That's what this company is for. And I hope you never forget the golden rule. You can joke all you want, moan all you want, but nothing will keep your skins in one piece better than trusting your leader, who you choose by your own free will. So don't ever forget that.
Amen.
Chief, I think there's something going on over there. Let's go! Behind me, and keep your eyes peeled.
Ну, поехали, давай. Что-то горит, типа.
What do you think we can expect this time, fellas?
Groschen, hidden in a piss pot under the bed. A nice chunk of beef. No one there will be eating.
On account of it'd just fall out through the holes in their bellies, eh, brother?
My mouth is already watering, brother, and I ain't even touched a purse yet.
Once you get your hands on some loot, I'll be happy to play you for your hard-earned groschen back at the camp.
Poor old Fletch. Never gets to see the action from close up.
What about you, Dangler? What do you expect to find?
Utility and human suffering, like always.
Always full of good cheer, eh, Dangler? Why don't you take a leaf out of Stone's book and shut the fuck up?
Jesus, I wish you'd all shut the fuck up.
Что за кровавая шляпа была только что сбоку?
Keep your eyes peeled, though. There might be someone hiding out here still. Look for clues and question the survivors, if there are any.
Jesus Christ, what a massacre. No signs of resistance. They simply slaughtered them like animals. Looks like it happened fast. They weren't even armed.
Ну, уже поживились здесь. Ни хрена себе ты.
Kuno will want to know about this.
Щит дома Золов какой-то. Где там какая-то бумага? Братцы, кобыла бессовестный, ты изверг, лишенный всякого христианского благочестия, и обвиняю тебя, ты отрекся от всякой чести и добродетели. когда решился на жестокие злодеяния против меня и моей семьи, я нарекаю тебя беспородной собакой за совершение тех подлостей, что ты, несомненно, прекрасно помнишь. И я вызываю тебя на поединок, как того требует рыцарская честь. Дабы ты не прятался трусливо за стенами своего замка и защищал свое имя и имя своего рода как следует поступить человеку благородного звания. Если ты откажешься, я пройду по этой земле, тогда все узнают, что ты бесчестный негодяй, недостойный благородного общества, а твой щит я прибью к позорному столбу на поругание. Богом клянусь, что буду поступать по справедливости и чести своего рода, совершая против тебя лишь то, что ты заслужил. Мой гнев направлен только против тебя, но чем дольше ты трусливо прячешься от меня, тем больше я буду разорять и грабить эту землю. Но это будет на твоей совести. Подписано 1403 год. Хаген Цугель. Угу. А щит это, видимо, чтобы вспомнил, что там кого.
Poor wretch.
У меня здание не стоит, что ли? Стоит синим. И синяя метка никуда не ведет. Что? А, вот дурная кровь надо поставить. Зеленая, значит.
I found this shield in a shed along with a letter. Seems like someone left us a message.
Show me that. I know that crest. It's the House of Zul. A dangerous lot, God's truth. I don't think we'll find anything else here. We'll stay here a while, just in case. And you should go and report to Radzig what happened.
What do you know about these Zuls?
A family of impoverished nobles. They fought in the Margraviate Wars in Moravia. But what they're after in Bohemia, I've no idea.
I'll ride out right away.
Go. Ride like the devil. If they openly left a message like that, then I reckon there's trouble on the horizon.
Блин, поди опять сытости не хватит. Народ, срочно пожрать надо. И одной порции мне не хватит. Да иди в задницу. Во. Ты отдал чеснок, ну. Четко. Печеное яблоко. И что, она больше дает или нет? Походу так же. Может портиться дольше. А, да, вареная, кстати, пища больше восстанавливает хпшки. Всё, сыт. Опять на башне что-то тусуется.
What the...
What was that noise?
Уйди отсюда.
No business here. Clear off or you'll be sorry.
Well?
Да давай поболтаем ты.
Hey! Greetings. What do you need?
Sir, I'm afraid I have some bad news. We came across a burnt-out farm near Merhayed.
Mother of God.
Toth must have left some of his cronies behind.
Now, this is something else, sir. We found a shield there with a crest. A tricolour star on a blue field.
I know that coat of arms, unfortunately. It's the House of Zul.
There was a letter there, too.
Show it to me. Although I think I already know what it will say.
Here you are, sir.
Unscrupulous beast. Cruelty and malevolence. I challenge you to face me in a duel, defend your honor. Antinomious wretch. Well, that's nice. Signed, Hagen Zul. As I expected, old grievances coming back to haunt me.
What happened between you and Sir Hagen?
That's a long story.
Well, I'd like to hear the whole story, sir, if you wouldn't mind.
Very well. It began in the first year of King Wenceslas's reign. He sent me to resolve a dispute between the Zuls and a neighboring house. It concerned land boundaries. The Zuls had refused to accept the ruling of the land court. His Majesty's position was a little shaky after his coronation. So a decision was made in the royal court to take radical action against any dissent in the kingdom. Since the Zul family was defying the king, we were obliged to punish them. Harshly, as the circumstances demanded. The head of the family, Hagen's father, was hanged, their castle razed to the ground and their property confiscated.
So, they're out for vengeance. But you acted according to the law.
Would it were that simple, lad. I was young and didn't realize the repercussions it would bring. For one thing, the king didn't use it to strengthen his position. On the contrary, he took less and less interest in such affairs.
How come?
Because he realized things would eventually sort themselves out. He promoted me to royal hetman, leaving him to pursue other interests. Secondly, my actions essentially created another band of robbers. When you strip a nobleman of his property, you can't expect him to take to begging. And thirdly, I wasn't aware at the time that the other party to the dispute was distantly related to me. Naturally, that made it look like I was acting in self-interest. If I'd known what I know today, I'd have been a lot more circumspect.
This Sir Hagen wants to challenge you to a duel.
Apparently, he still hopes I will agree to this kind of outmoded solution to disputes.
But surely you can't refuse a challenge to a duel. What about your honor?
Henry, my boy, honor is a splendid thing, and it should be held in high regard. But in time, you'll learn that some matters are not so straightforward.
Like this one?
Yes, like this one. The only reason Hagen is challenging me now is that he has a marked advantage. I've served as the royal hetman for the last 15 years and become a courtier. Hagen, meanwhile, was fighting in the Margraviate Wars in Moravia and elsewhere as a mercenary. Which of us do you think would win a duel? That's not honor, but an abuse of honor. Commonplace opportunism. I don't blame him for trying, but I'm not such a fool as to play by his rules.
Well, I never.
Well, what are we going to do about this?
You and Kuno's band will just have to deal with Hagen and prevent further mayhem. The longer he's marauding around these parts, the greater the chances that I'll finally have to succumb to his conditions.
So you'd fight him, if it came to that?
Let's hope it doesn't come to that. But maybe there's something else behind this challenge. Maybe it's coin he's after. Who knows?
All right. We'll deal with him, sir.
I'm sure you will, Henry.
Sir, my investigation led me back to Skalitz, and I happened across a criminal there. I just wanted to report to you, sir, that I dealt with that murderer. He attacked me and, well, I got the better of him. He won't be doing any more harm to anyone.
That was a brave deed, Henry. Thank you. I sent a patrol there some time ago, and they never returned.
Sir, I've been to Ujitz, and the parish priest there is very odd indeed. He's very handy with a sword. Do you know anything about him, sir?
Godwin? Aye, an intriguing fellow. He's the youngest son of one of the lords of Kuttenberg. He was sent to the university to become a priest, as is customary with the youngest son. But he didn't much care for it. So when he finished studying, instead of taking up his parish, he went roaming. I imagine he had a pretty adventurous life. And then one day he came back and settled down. Goodbye. Who are you?
Да иди в жопу, ты не знаешь, кто я, что ли? Че за дауны здесь?
Get lost, or you'll have me to reckon with.
Капец, вроде как типа сын пана Рацига, и его выгоняют отсюда нахрен. Ай, трудом какой-то.
What is it, Jakey?
The stone wants to talk with you, if you can call it that. Probably about that ring.
What ring?
Ah, no one told you about it. The fellas call it the Ring of Bacchus. It's a kind of game we play. Kuno gave us this ring. It's just a worthless bauble. But when we're at the tavern, Kuno pays everything for the man who has the ring. So we steal the ring from each other and try to trick each other. Well, actually, just the others. They won't let me play. Kuno says I'm too young to get boozed up.
That sounds like a lot of fun. But I don't have the ring, so why does the stone want to see me?
He probably wants you to steal it from someone. Since you're new, the fellows will talk to you, and it won't be suspicious.
All right, I'll have a word with him.
Он уже не разговаривает вроде.
Jakey sent me to you. Something about a ring?
Mm-hmm.
I suppose you want me to get it from someone?
Mm-hmm.
Who has it? Jakey?
Mm-mm.
You mean Kuno?
Mm-mm.
I didn't quite... Is it fletching?
Mm-mm.
Does Dangler have it?
Mm.
All right. How should I get it?
Интересно. Повеса. Не проблема.
I got the ring from Dangler. Yeah, well, I suppose there's not much more either of us can say about it. Yeah, thanks to you too.
Молчание золота. Так у меня была такая книга, я ее уже прочитал. Поехали по заданию.
I'd been to see Sir Radzik.
So how did he take the news?
Well, he wasn't exactly happy about it.
I can well imagine. I wouldn't want the Zulls plundering my estates either. If I had any.
He wants us to carry on patrolling the area. There's nothing else for it.
That makes sense. I don't think he'll come to us. So we'll just have to hope we run into him. I'd like to check out the big forest to the north, and then carry on via Ujits.
Sure.
Mount up then, and let's go.
Что там горит что-то вдалеке?
Please, can we stop for a bit? My arse is aching, and I've such a thirst I could drink a moat dry.
Same here. What do you say, Chief?
Not to worry. We'll re-choose it soon. We'll spend the night there.
I heard they've got a peculiar priest there. They say he drinks like the devil himself.
There's nothing strange about that. Every other man on the cloth is a swill pot.
Or a lecher.
Or both.
Quiet. Listen.
For the love of God, help! Please, sir, help me.
Don't worry, lass. Nothing to fear. We're with Sir Radzig, in the manner of speaking. What's the matter?
These brigands came. The menfolk fled and left us there. They started pillaging the place, drinking whatever they could find and smashing things. I ran off, but the other girls, You've got to save them. Please, I beg you.
Easy, lass. Drinking, you say?
Aye, sir. They rolled the casks into the courtyard and started swilling like pigs from a trough.
Well, as our old cook used to say, if you want to make a proper goulash, you should soak the meat in ale for a while to soften it first.
Ah, let them get well soaked, and then go and chop them up. Good thinking, Chief.
But what about the girls? Those men, they were...
Ah, I'm sure your friends won't be getting nothing they ain't had before.
Well, unless they be nuns.
Kuno, the girl's right. If we delay, her friends will pay the price for it.
I appreciate your advice, Henry. But it's caution that'll keep you alive, not chivalrous deeds.
You promised Sir Radzig you protect his fiefdom, and that means his subjects too.
Come on, it's not like their lives are in any real danger. Hagen's men just want a bit of fun.
A bit of fun? Are you fucking serious? You know very well, Kuno, how innocent girls can end up after a bit of fun with animals like that. Well, I, for one, am not going to sit back and let it happen, even if I have to creep in there myself and try to rescue them.
Oh, all right. It's not the smartest thing to do. But let's go and tackle those fuckers if that's how you want it.
Good. Thanks.
Right. We better try and save those girls from Hagen's brutes. Let's go!
Могли уж подъехать на лошадях.
Who wants their back covered? My right arm is stitched since last night. Cover that side for me.
Someone in the wrist dangler.
Ну вот это, кстати, повеселее тема. Народ такой, типа, сделали веселый.
I'll watch your right side then, yeah?
Шайка раздолбаев, так сказать.
Давай, добро давай.
нахер иди.
Well, I never.
Hey! Who are you?
Can't say I blame them.
Fucking ingratitude.
Well, at least the booze didn't run away.
Hi, booze will never let you down.
Sit down and have a drink with us before it's all gone.
Dangler. Dangly Dangler. I like you the best out of the whole...
They left us some damn good booze here. And as my old man used to say, the fire of battle must be quenched. Of course, the only battle he was ever in was with Ma. But still, it fits. Anyway, I hope you'll drink with us.
Sure. Why look a gift horse in the mouth?
My words exactly. Me and the lads were just saying how we know nothing about you. Most of the folk around here have hardly been further than the village market. But you must have seen a thing or two.
That I have. I suppose you heard about the raising of Skallets.
Aye, I heard. And Radzig told me you're from there. But that's probably not the kind of story to go with wine and good cheer.
Have you seen Sasau Monastery?
I've seen it from the outside. A fine building. But at the pace they're going, it'll never be finished.
You could be right. Anyway, I've seen it from the inside.
Like, you were in the courtyard?
Like I was in the cloisters.
Good one. Only the monks are allowed in there.
Exactly.
Come on, Henry. I like a good story, but at least make it believable.
I swear to God. I had to get in there to find a fella who was hiding out amongst the monks.
I see, but they don't take, no offence, every idiot that comes along.
No. You have to be able to read and write, and speak Latin, and sing it, even. Yeah, or at least convince them you can.
You speak Latin?
Sure. Passio sapo volam, qui plagam diligo solam.
I'm impressed. What does it mean?
Something about how you can't trust anyone. I don't know exactly.
You don't have to understand Latin to know that.
It comes in handy if you want to insult a priest, though.
Well, we have a scholar in our midst. And what's it like in the cloisters?
It's like time moves at a different pace there. You pretty much have to do the same thing day in, day out. Get up before dawn, pray in the chapel, eat with the brothers, then go and work in the gardens or the library.
I don't think I can handle that much excitement.
Yeah. It takes some getting used to, all right?
Tell us another.
I was trying to track down these bandits who raided the Neuhof stud farm, and the trail led to Ujitz. I made the acquaintance of the parish priest there.
Oh, I've heard some stories about him. Apparently he's quite a character.
That's putting it mildly. But he does keep his word, and he sure knows how to drink.
A typical man of the cloth, eh?
I don't know about other priests, but Godwin can booze like a master. So we ended up in the local tavern. What can I tell you? Wine, women, and song, you know how it goes. Well, we lost track of time a little, and then the bailiff came barging in and tells us it's past curfew and we're to clear out.
Was he on his own?
No, he had some men with him. I'm not sure how many. It's all a little blurry. Anyway, we explained to him politely that we had no intention of ending our enjoyment. So, after a bit of discussion with the bailiff, we carried on. Next morning, Godwin was as green as a frog and hardly able to walk. And then he realised he had to say mass.
That's a show I'd like to see.
Well, he couldn't do it. So he got me to preach the sermon.
You preaching? You're joking.
Well, I did my best. Of course, I wasn't in great shape myself, so I'm not sure what the flock made of it.
My word, you're a dark horse. Tell us another.
I've got a good one about something that happened in Skalitz.
I'm not sure Skalitz is an entertaining topic.
No, wait, you'll enjoy this one. Well, we had a German as a neighbour, a furrier he was, and he was always blabbering on about how Sigismund was the best thing for this country, and how Wenceslas wasn't worth a damn. Me and my mates got fed up with his horse shit. After all, he was insulting our king, and we weren't going to put up with that.
Regular patriots, eh?
And as it happened, this Deutsch had just whitewashed his house. Lovely and white, pure as the driven snow. And next to it was a big pile of fresh manure.
Ah, I think I see where this is going.
Wait though, his wife was at home, you see. So I went to her and said, "Good wife, sorry to bother you, but your husband is in the tavern insulting the king." And she says, "Oh, God above, the fool is drunk and spouting nonsense again." So she jumps up and off she goes to give him an ear bashing, leaving the coast clear for our operations.
I can just imagine it.
Yeah, you should have seen it. How those shit pies stood out so prettily against that pure white background. And then the Deutsch's son turned up with his mates. Naturally, there was a bit of a brawl. And then the catchpole turned up and we had to beat a tactical retreat.
Quite the general, aren't you? A nice story, but let's just drink.
7 кружек или бутылок самогона займет некоторое время. Интересно. Зашибись, и что, все свалили? Ладно, закончим на этом серию. Всем спасибо за просмотр. Ставьте лайки, пишите комментарии. Подписывайтесь на канал. Всем до следующей серии.